Okay, everyone. So today is September 11 and a little bit exhausted, but still I want to be consistent with the 100 days of Godot learning. I was actually biking early in the morning for me to be able to arrive to work, and I had this issue from where my bike wheel has ended up getting a flat tire. But luckily, my friend went and helped me out. And for today, I just wanted to work on further exploring some of the properties of the different nodes that we have in Godot. And there are some different ways on how we can go create platforms. But for the meantime, I'm just going to go with this approach from where we are utilizing a sprite 2D with a collision. And we just created a parent node for it. And most probably there will definitely be some ways on how to do this in a much more efficient manner. But for the meantime, while we're learning and while we're testing things out, I just want to go and try to do it this way. And my strategy, long term strategy here is to familiarize myself with the interface. And as of now, a little bit of recap. We have learned how to create scenes with the use of the following. We have learned the different menus. We have learned the different windows here that can indicate which type of game we will be building. And I've also learned how to create a basic script. And we read through some of the basic script here for pre-made Godot player script. And we also learned the different ways of playing our screen. We learned about how to go and create some sprite sheets and how we can also animate it with multiple animation. So far there are some documents that I've been reading that there's another way on how to animate a sprite sheet, but we'll try to explore that perhaps in some other session. But for now, I just want to go and work on learning how to transform the player that we have here and change the scale. You would see if you have a little bit of background with Unity, I would usually my strategy here is to compare some of the concepts in different engines that I have already explored. Like for example, in Phaser, we have what we call in Phaser dynamic and static body. And in this case, this sprite 2D is actually static in nature. And then we have the animate sprite 2D, which is more dynamic. So I think those are concepts that we can try to compare. And that's a good thing that we get to be familiarized on what are the possibilities if you will have a need to go transition to a different engine. I think being able to compare some of the features and perhaps a little bit of adjustments based on whatever interface that the engine is offering for us. I like to go back to the very fundamentals when I'm learning especially when it comes to scripting. I'm not that much of a genius guy. That's why it really takes me a lot of effort for me to really go and explore script, a code base for me to be able to figure out how and why that is working. So right now, I have been doing a little bit of advanced checking. So, and I just wanted to have a bit of a recap of what we have so far covered. And right now, I just want to go and give this scale of a point 0.5 for our character and for both X and Y. And let's see, I think I made a mistake there. I was pointing to the sprite 2D that is currently hidden. And let's look at the transform here for this specific animate sprite 2D. And let's go and try to have that point 0.5. And in here also point 0.5. Also, it automatically had that player minimize the size of the player. But what we're seeing here right now, if we targeted the animate sprite 2D, it only scale down the sprite. So we don't want that. We actually want the sprite player to be the one that we will be okay, and then we will be moving that a little bit down to the platform down here. And I think this will be working now, but we will have to, let's say I'm just going to go duplicate this and I'm going to call this wall. And then the wall, I'm just going to create a bit of a scale here for the wall. But of course, this is not going to be how we'll be doing this in the future, but just for the sake of having some way to keep the player from falling. Just going to have that duplicated again. And then I'm just going to have that on the other end. And we'll also try to explore how, you would say I haven't really fixed yet most of the objects that we have here. And let's, where's that? Why did I duplicate the wall 3? Let's go back to wall 2, duplicate that. Let's move that here and scale that up just enough so that we'll have some sort of no, don't want that. We want that to be around here. And I'm not sure if we can focus. Yeah, that's the same thing with Unity. You just press on the F key and it will focus on the object that you're trying to target. You will see I'm targeting around here and it's focusing there. If I go and it focuses back to our player here. And if we now play this, let's see what would happen. And we now have a player that can move around. There's a collision. And I think we can, of course, we can adjust the screen size of this game area, but and how the player can move around the environment. But we do have some walls, initial walls. But we try to explore some other ways on how to do this in a much more efficient way. But for the meantime, I just really wanted to have a bit of a recap of what we have learned in the past 10 days and what I have learned and what we might want to further explore with the Godot engine. So perhaps that's it for the meantime and see you again tomorrow. And thank you for watching this quick recap of the things that we have learned in the past 10 days.